Hello, this is Dan Zeidman. I'm owner of Lifetime Kicking Academy, and I'm gonna go ahead and go through a video blog for 14 weeks for you guys. And the 14 weeks I'm gonna spend training down here in San Diego with a couple different coaches in preparation for a combine that is going down in April 1st through the 5th in Las Vegas, the Louis Aguiar Combine. He teams up with Michael Husted, and they run a professional kicking, punting, and snapping combine. And you go in the first 2 or 3 days, you qualify for the combine. For punting, you have to average 442 yards, 4.6 hang, and 1.4 hand to foot get off times. And you have to average that over two days, and that's 10 balls each day. Field goals, you have to average 8 out of 10 or better on 2 days, and then kickoffs, you have to average 3.85 hang to the 5. And those are bare minimum. Those are just to let you in the combine day, which is the last day where there'll be 2 years ago there was 17 scouts there, I believe. And so it's a good opportunity for you to get exposure. Anyone could come if you want to pay $550 and give it a shot. But if you're a free agent, and then they do a little bit different things with the college kids who are draft eligible. But anyway, it's 14 weeks. This was the end of week one. I'm training as far as my kicking side. I'm training with Jim Gaetano. He works at a Proform Kicking Academy with Mike Hollis out in Florida, and Jim's out here this last week and then next week, half the week. And Jim has mentored me for the last couple years, along with John Coker, who is also a part of Proform Kicking Academy. And I've had a blast learning from Jim and John. And last week I really worked on some things with Jim. I'm working on trying to stay taller, being more fluid with my swing, and really keeping my hips under control. A lot of times my right hip gets a little bit back, and I get kind of, and my timing gets messed up, and I end up having to swing harder and harder and harder the farther that right hip gets back. And so right now I'm just tapering down as far as moving full speed. I'm going 50-60% just to build that base. And as Jim would say, building my house. And so ultimately I'm going to put the roof on my house at the end. But you don't put a roof on a house when there's no foundation, when there's no structure. And so the roof on the house is the very last element. So week 13, week 14, I'll start putting that roof on. And right now I'm just building the structure and just pounding a lot of nails and doing stuff like that, doing the piping. But I like that analogy that Jim Gaetano gave me. But we worked on a lot of stuff last week, and I'll continue to build this next week, moving about 50 or 60%, trying to really build that base to lean on. In the Bible it says in Matthew 7, don't build your house on sand but on rock. It's talking about Jesus, and I believe that relates to anything in life where you want to build your base, and you want to be conscious of not rushing into performance or not rushing into the outcome, but you want to make sure you're meticulous about the way you prepare things, because I know Abraham Lincoln had a quote saying, if I had 8 hours to spend chopping down a tree, I'd spend 7 of those hours sharpening my axe, and because he knew if he sharpened his axe, it wouldn't take long. If he sharpened his axe to a point where it was just razor blade sharp, then it wouldn't take long to cut down the tree. But if it was a dull axe, it wouldn't be efficient cutting down that tree. And so that's the ultimate goal for me, is I want to make my training as efficient as possible. So when it comes down to it, and when I go into the combine and then get signed and go back into the NFL, that process, and then get into preseason games, that I can stick to good form, and I could stick to something that I could lean on in pressure times, and when I'm tight, when I'm sore, when I've kicked a ton. Because in the past I've leaned a lot on my athleticism, and if you know me, I'm not an incredible athlete. I'm a pretty good athlete. I'm an okay athlete, probably run of the mill. As if you compare me to NFL athletes, I'm a fifth grade baseball player. I'm not a stellar athlete by any means. So I want to really lean on the mechanics of kicking, about 80%, and then my athleticism about lean on that about 20%. So when I do get tired in camp, and when we're doing 2-a-days, and you're going through a whole NFL season, I want to be able to lean on an efficient swing. And the ultimate goal is to have one swing, you know. And right now I have a couple different swings, and the naked eye, if you watched it, you wouldn't really see a huge difference, but it's really tiny, and it makes a lot of difference. And it's really a game of inches and even centimeters when you're talking about kicking form. And so it's been fun working with Jim and John, and Jim will leave next week, and then I'll continue to work with John Coker, and we'll train together down here with Jared Bauman and Corey Onizorga and all those guys trying to train. But I have a good feeling about all of us training this year. I think we have a good core down here, and we all work together. And when we go to the combines, we all perform separately, but we train together, and we definitely build on each other, and we encourage each other. And it's nice to have a community of guys who are doing the same thing with the same amount of skill level, because any given year, any one of us guys down here could definitely make it for sure. These guys are very talented. And so I'm also jumped in a 14-week training program with a guy named Kyle McComb, and he works out. He actually rents out a place. It's over in Santee, California, and it is MMA fighting, and it's Alliance, and it's some professional MMA fighters and UFC fighters fight out of there. But Kyle McComb is putting me on a 4 days a week. We'll be doing a lot of kettlebell stuff, and so we're doing a lot of hip swings, and we're going to strengthen and gain range of motion at my hips and my lower back. And as a kicker, the hips, especially this right hip, and my lower back, those are the things that really go on me especially when I start really adding to it, and I really start straining when I kick or when I run or when I train. And so it's going to be really nice to really incorporate a strengthening exercise where it's explosive, but with weight, with the kettlebell, but where I'm strengthening my hips and gaining range of motion, and also strengthening my back and gaining range of motion as well. But as a kicker, sustaining that range of motion is very, very crucial for you young kickers and you old kickers out there. Shoot, the NFL vets know it. You know, that range of motion is key, especially when you get late in the season. The last thing you want to be is tight, you know. And so let me warn you, with lifting weights, I think lifting weights is good if you sustain and continue to work on that flexibility and that range of motion. Because when you're sitting there squatting 300-400 pounds, that doesn't necessarily equal kick power. I've never been able to squat pretty much over 350 pounds, and I probably couldn't even squat 300 right now, you know, but I could still kick plenty far and plenty high, you know, is because that weight room strong doesn't directly correlate with a good or strong kicker. You know, when you say a kicker has a strong leg, it doesn't mean he's weight room strong. It doesn't mean he's even really, really fast, you know, but he has the elements that all come together, and that first element is form, and then flexibility, and then core strength, and then power, and then strength, you know. And so, and then speed. I forgot speeds before power, but there's these different elements that you want to go ahead and incorporate. But I'll go ahead and train with Kyle McComb, and we're going to have a blast over there. I just want to keep you guys posted on the progress. It'll probably be this is about a 10-minute video, but the first one, or the next ones, will probably be around 5 minutes, just to keep you posted on where I'm at. But had fun training this week. I'm feeling really healthy. I felt like this week was a great week in the bank, and I'm excited about the next 13 weeks training with John and Jim and Kyle over there. And yeah, give me a holler if you have any questions. I'm here down in San Diego. I'm coaching as well, and so I'm doing that on the side as well. And so give me a holler if you have any questions. Mentoring, any sort of stuff like that, because I'm training, but I'm also coaching. I'll never stop coaching, and so it's an opportunity for me to give back to what I've learned in the last couple of years here. I've been kicking a football for 17 years, and I'm still not satisfied. Let me tell you, I'm far from it. So I'm excited about these next 13 weeks. We'll see where it goes. It's all in God's hands. All right. Take care. Happy New Year.